I've been getting subscription boxes since 2018 and I have ended up building up quite the collection. And it's time for me to try and clear through some of this backlog. I still have books on these shelves from 2021 and I want to try and get through it. So the intention with this series is to try and clear through this backlog. However, as we all know, subscription box services are still going on and I do still get quite a few of them. So as the books are leaving, more books are coming in. My intention by the end of 2025 is to only have 2024 and 2025 releases on the shelves. Can we do it? So, as a quick recap in episode 2, I did read Starling House, I did Something Bad and Watermoon, and I did DNF Phoenix Keeper. All of these books have since been unhauled, so I no longer own them, which is why I'm doing it this way round. The only books that did come in for February were Iron and Embers from the Romantasy box from Fairy Loot, and also First Time Caller from Afterlight, which I have already read. And we are starting this episode on 39 books unread, which is fantastic. It's 6:10 in the morning. Been awake since 5:30. Look how fucking bright it is outside. It's coming across way brighter on camera, but it is bright. What the heck? We are fully in spring. Hello. Hi team, I hope you're all well today. We are back with round 3 of Keep It or Yeet It. Don't know how we got here so fast. I do want to apologise first of all if you can hear the traffic outside. It's gloriously sunny, it's quite warm, so I've got the window open trying to let some air flow through the house. I may need to close that in a little bit if I'm filming today, but yeah, we're here to do episode 3 of Keep It or Yeet It. We are starting this episode off with 39 books. Look at me go. We're under 40 already. How did we get here so quick? I'll tell you how we got here so quick. I skipped a whole bunch of books in February. Actually, I skipped 2 books in February and I've cancelled a subscription. Look at me go. We're only in the 3rd month of the year and I've already cancelled a subscription. I'm ready to cancel another one, but they do have a book supposedly coming out in the next couple of months that I really want to get my hands on, so I'm waiting for that and then I'll cancel the subscription because I'm fairly certain that I know, not 100%, but I'm pretty certain I know kind of what's coming up potentially for the rest of the year, maybe, and I'm not interested. So I'm going to cancel after this other book's come in. I think it's May time for Fairy Loot Adult, so I think I'll be cancelling that box at that point. But I did cancel Illumicrate at the end of Feb, beginning of March. I did cancel Illumicrate. There is this Instagrammer that I do follow that does spoil the books for upcoming months, and also when the companies do spoilers for the upcoming months as well, you know, not spoilers, but you know, emoji guesses for the upcoming months, she does guess what's coming up. So I had a quick look to see what she had down for April through till June or July, I think it was. I've got 0 interest in any of the books, so I've cancelled the subscription because I just truly am not interested anymore. I was keeping hold of the subscription so I could continue getting the Lore Olympus volumes, but even that I've lost interest in now because they come out so much later. I've already read them at that point and I'm never going to reread them. So it's just easier for me to get a volume when it comes out and then read it and then sell it on. I'm not bothered. So I need to now get rid of the Lore Olympus Illumicrates on my shelves. So the Illumicrate Lore Olympus is on my shelves. So I've cancelled Illumicrate. I'm no longer getting that. I did skip February's book, so I only got January's book for this year from Illumicrate. I read it. It was Watermoon. I gave it 2.5 stars. That's it. My relationship with Illumicrate specifically is over. I do still get Afterlight and Evernight, and I am keeping those boxes because the Evernight one is only every 3 months, and I am enjoying the Afterlight box so far. So I've only recently gotten back into Afterlight as well. I got it again from December onwards. I have read December's book and I've read February's book. So, and the next upcoming books look pretty good. I can skip any if I want to. So that's where I'm up to with that. I've skipped Illumicrate. I've got my eye on skipping Fairy Loot Adult, so we'll see how that goes. If the book that I think is going to come in May's box, I will get that. I think I'll probably skip April's. I'm not interested in March's. That will be going straight in my Unhaul pile. And I skipped February's, so I will, again, I've only had January's book and then hopefully May's, and we're not doing too bad. It's going well, you know? Okay, so if you remember my TBR correctly for the month, I did have these two that made it to my TBR. We had Some Desperate Glory and also Heavenly Bodies. Now, one thing that I am going to say very quickly, just to let you know, I'm so excited to read this book. I truly, truly am. I am on that basis going to delay this until April. There's a reason why. I will read this in April's episode. There's a reason why I'm doing this, and it's because I have started the Legend of Thesma series last week during the 24-hour readathon reading challenge that I did. I'll leave a link to it up here somewhere if you haven't seen it yet. But I started the Legend of Thesma series and got incredibly hooked to the point that as soon as this video finishes, I'm going back to it. So I have made the decision that I don't think it's a good idea to start a new romanticist series when I'm in very much so in the middle. Like, this isn't a case of, you know, I've started the first book and I'm probably not going to pick the second one up until several months later. I am literally in the middle of this series. I've read the first 2 books in 1 week, and I intend to read a standalone that's set in the same world and then the last 2 books next week. That is literally my plan. I don't think it's a good idea for me to pick this up in the middle of that. First of all, it could affect my enjoyment of this book. Second of all, it could affect my enjoyment of the rest of the series. So I think in order to give this book a fair chance, what I need to be doing is waiting until I finish that series before I pick this up. I could get to it before the end of the month, but I highly doubt it. So what I'm going to say is that if you don't see me read this by the end of March, you will see this in episode 4 of Keep It or Yeet It. Just wanted to be fully clear on that, because I know some of you may or may not, maybe you don't care, be waiting on my review of this. I'm so excited to read it. Just know that I am still very excited, and on that basis I do think it's only fair to both the Legend of the Thesma series and this that I wait to pick it up. I don't think it's a good idea that I pick it up right in the middle of the throes of reading the Legend of Thesma series. So don't be expecting me to read that this week. It's not happening. Some Desperate Glory, however, I started this last night. I wanted to get a head start on some of my reading, and I was, you know, on the fence about this anyway. I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to feel about it. I am a bit funny with my sci-fi books on occasion. Sometimes I absolutely love a good sci-fi. The Martian by Andy Weir, for example. And also Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I love the Murderbot Diaries. I love S.A. Barnes. Well, I loved Dead Silence, but that is sci-fi horror specifically. I love the, you know, Gideon the Ninth series. So that one though is more like fantasy sci-fi. So, you know, but on occasion it just does not work for me, and I don't necessarily enjoy sci-fi 100%. Oh, the Illuminate Files. Fucking love that series. Obsessed. So I was not fully anticipating this one. Like, I wasn't excited about it in the slightest. Not when it came in, not when I was picking it up. I can't remember whether or not I got excited about it again from the synopsis. I might have done, actually, because the synopsis sounds great. However, I started this last night and I got to chapter 3, page 32. And what I will say is we're following Kay. Now, this has been sold as an adult sci-fi. You lie. This, she is young. I don't know how young, but she is young. And she sounds like a child. She's immature. She's childish. She is racist, homophobic, transphobic. What I will say is that from the reviews that I've read of this book, because I immediately disliked this character, like fucking hated her, viscerally hated her. I was like, you are a terrible human being. And I thought, there is no way that I can be in the head of this girl if there isn't a redemption arc in the first 20%. There is no way that I can do that with this book. So I had a quick look at some reviews. That is not the case. The redemption arc apparently comes, but it's not till very later on in the book. And it turns out, I think, that she's been very much so in like a cult, if you like, where she has been told to, you know, convinced that she should dislike these types of people, so therefore she is racist, she is homophobic, she is transphobic. And it's a case of like through the course of the book and through the course of spending time with one of these captive aliens, that while she's trying to help her brother out, that she, you know, comes to realize that everything that she's been told is a lie. However, I don't think I can go through this book in the head of this main character, with her being the utter piece of trash that she is. So, just to put it bluntly, I am going to DNF this one. I think that everything that's mentioned in the synopsis as well apparently doesn't happen until at least the 50% mark, which I think is silly to be putting in the synopsis. I was waiting for this to happen pretty early on. Apparently it doesn't happen like that. So I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, a lot of people in their reviews on this as well were saying that this is great for people that are new to sci-fi, but if you're well seasoned with sci-fi, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily well seasoned with sci-fi, but I'm definitely not new to sci-fi, I've read quite a bit of sci-fi, then this would work well for those that are new to sci-fi. For those of you well seasoned, you might not enjoy it as much because it is incredibly childish considering it's supposed to be an adult. It's very YA and I don't like that. I prefer it if something's sold to me as YA and it seems way more adult and it should have been sold to me as new adult. I prefer that. I get angry about it because I'm sick to death of publishers ignoring new adult as a category. However, I prefer it that way around. If I'm picking something up expecting adult and it's YA, it pisses me off. I don't like it. I'm sure I've had this conversation before. So I'm promptly DNFing this one. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but it gets another book off my shelves. DNF, first DNF of the vlog. It is what it is. Listen, I have just finished a very, very, very good vlog. Probably the most successful vlog of the year so far. I had a fantastic time. I finished 5 books and not one of them was under 4.5 stars. I had 2 5-star reads in that series, and it was the Legend of Thesma series. So I made the decision this vlog that I am going to be even more brutal than usual. If I am not enjoying this book immediately, that's it, it's gone. Lights out. And away we go. So, because I really don't want to bring this mood down, I had such a good fucking time in that last vlog that I really don't want to bring this mood down. So, we're DNFing Some Desperate Glory. It's going straight in the Unhaul pile. Actually, it's not. It's going to go on my shelves for my wrap up at the end of the month. So I then decided to go straight into In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. This is my smaller Illumicrate edition, but I do have the Fairy Loot adult one downstairs. I will be picking that one up instead. It's just that this one was upstairs and I couldn't be bothered to go back downstairs for it last night after I DNF'd Some Desperate Glory. I went into it anticipating that I might, you know, it might be okay. I didn't bring another book up with me anticipating that I will be DNFing it, but this was the only one that was up here that I could then pick up. So I decided to dive into this one yesterday. I got to page 54. This is going much better, I will say. This is on my 12 books from 12 friends. Claire has put this on there for me, and this is going much better. We're following a human named Victor who lives in a tree house, and he lives with 3 robots. There's a nurse, a pleasantly sadistic nurse machine, she's hilarious. We also have a small vacuum eager for love and attention, and a fatherly inventor android named Giovanni Lawson. Together they're a family hidden and safe. Now I get the feeling that there are some people that are maybe hunting the robots down, but also maybe hunting for Victor as well. So I'm not 100% certain what's going on here, but one day Vic salvages an unfamiliar android labelled Hap and learns that he and Geo share a dark past. Then Hap unwittingly reveals their location and Geo is captured by robots from his former life. The unconventional family must travel across hostile territory to save him from decommissioning or worse. Their destination? The city of electric dreams. Along the way, Vic must decide if he can handle his feelings for Hap, even if they come with strings attached. So I'm very much so looking forward to this one. I did love The House in the Cerulean Sea. I haven't yet finished Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I did start it, I didn't get too far in, but I haven't yet finished that one. I didn't love Under the Whispering Door, so I do go into TJ Klune's books a little apprehensively. I did enjoy the Wolf Song though, actually, and I do need to continue on with that series. Raven Song is also on my 12 books from 12 friends this year, so I am trying to make my way through that list as much as I possibly can, and I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to pick this one up because it did come in Fairy Loot's adult April 2023 box. This one is the Illumicrate version. Don't judge me based on this. This is the Illumicrate version. I also had a Waterstones edition, which I have since unhauled. I didn't need 3 copies of this book. I don't think I'm gonna love it that much, but we'll see. So this is going to be the first official book of the vlog. I have DNF'd Some Desperate Glory, so that's another book off my shelves, but this will be the first one, and I'm excited to get into it. No idea what else I'm going to pick up, on the basis that I'm not doing Heavenly Bodies for this vlog either. Not sure what I'm going to pick up, but chances are there won't be a romantasy in this vlog, because I'm trying to stay away from romantasy as much as I can. So I may end up picking up an Afterlight book, maybe. I may pick up one of my Evernight books. I've got 2 outstanding, but we're going to be getting another one in April, so I could maybe pick one of those up. I do like to keep them on standby. Maybe I'll actually get to No One Leaves the Castle this month as well, because I didn't do it last month and I said I was going to. So we'll see what happens. I might actually try and pick up some standalones this month as well. We'll see. I'm not 100% certain, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm gonna go, because this has been an incredibly long introduction. I do apologise, but I need to get on with some sprints with patrons and also some editing before I can get back into my book. So I will check back in with you later. Okay, hello, it's still Monday. I'm back with a bit of an update, a reading update, and a bit of an unhaul update as well. I've been purging my shelves. You may notice that these look a little bit different. I've been purging my shelves. I've had enough. But I've been purging my shelves a little bit. I'm going to do a couple of run-throughs, I think. And on that basis, I did go through some of the books that are downstairs from subscription services, and I wanted to do a little purge through that. So I brought a handful up so I could look into them a little bit and get some reviews on them. The first one that I am just going to unhaul without even trying is a Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. I just don't think this is going to be for me. There's quite a few reviews saying that this is very lyrical and flowery writing, and I therefore do not think it's going to be for me. I've never once actually been interested in this book, but it came in a subscription and I was thinking about giving it a go, but I just don't think I'm going to bother. So I'm going to unhaul that one. And the other one is The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. This one I got 50 pages into last year because Claire put it in my Patreon pot. And I got 50 pages into it last year, put a bookmark in it, and never carried on, and I haven't wanted to pick it up since. So on that basis, I'm going to take said, I wonder where this one had gone. I'm going to take said bookmark out, and I'm just going to unhaul it because I'm just not interested in this one at all. So that is another unhaul. So that's 2 books unhauled. And then the book that I was reading, In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, I'm struggling with this massively. It's incredibly slow, incredibly long. I am on page 196. I'm 45% into this. And I genuinely believe that if I have to read another 55% of this book, I'm trying to say something that is not harmful in any way, but I don't want to do it. This is going to put me in a massive slump. It's going to make me want to never pick up a book again, and I'm just struggling with it. It's hilarious, don't get me wrong. I think the characters are really, really funny, and I do think it's quite hilarious, but that's it. I don't care for the characters. I'm not too keen on this story. We've basically got Victor, who's now trying to find his robot dad, Giovanni, who's been taken away, with his robot friends. So we've got the nurse, and we've got the vacuum, and we've got Hap then as well, who's a new one, and I think Victor's gonna end up falling in love with Hap or something, but they're on their way now. They're now looking for Gio, and it's just nothing's happening. I just don't care. Nothing is happening. It took ages to get to the point where Giovanni was taken, and now I feel like it's going to be ages while they're just mooching, trying to get to this point where Gio's been taken to before they get to him, and I just don't care. I really don't. So for the time being, I'm going to leave this bookmark in. Maybe if I'm feeling a bit of a slow burn and I want to find out, maybe as the week goes on, I might be wanting to come back to these characters, but for right now I don't care. So I am putting this down. It's, for now, it's a DNF, but I could come back to it by the end of the week, and if I don't, it's going in the unhaul pile along with the Illumicrate version that I've got as well. So That is sad because it's now my second DNF of this video, but at the same time I said that I was going to be brutal in this video. I don't want anything bringing my mood down because I'm on such a high with the books I'm reading at the moment. So I do want to be brutal. I could force myself through the last 55% of this. Not even over 50%. It feels like it's taken me all day just to get to this point. But I don't want to do it anymore. So that can go in that pile. I then, because I am doing Box Readathon with my patrons as well, which essentially is a week-long version of the F1 Readathon, but we focus on subscription box books. Now, in general, I focus on any subscription box books, so the ones that I've bought myself from subscription box services, not that have necessarily come in the box that I haven't chosen. So any subscription box book. However, because I'm doing Keep It or Yeet It, I'm trying to focus specifically on the ones that have come in the subscription service. So one of the prompts for Box Readathon is a poll pick. So I decided to let my patrons decide what I move on to next because I'm undecided on what to do. So I did give them the option of Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. This is one of the oldest ones that I have left. I also gave them the option of No One Leaves the Castle by Christopher Healy, which is one that I mentioned I was going to read last month and didn't get to. It's still an option for this week though. I also gave them the option of Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I wanted to give them like a range of stuff. But then the one that they did end up picking was Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson, which I'm excited about, to be honest. I'm very intrigued by this one. And I'm interested to see where this goes. So, the synopsis for this is: the man, the myth, the legend, what lies beneath the depths. Kiana Key McKay is used to secrets. After her father's death, she finds herself thrust into a world he'd always refused to speak of. With just a bedtime story about the monster that saved her father's life in the name of her estranged grandmother, Key has no idea what she'll find in Scotland. But being rescued by a gorgeous, angry Scotsman is the last thing she expects. Lachlan Greer has his own secrets to keep, especially from the bonny lass he pulls to safety from the slippery shore. One with captivating eyes and a last name he's been taught not to trust. Someone he definitely doesn't find wildly attractive. Soon it becomes clear that they might be the key to uncovering each other's secrets. Up against time, mystery, and a centuries-old curse, they'll quickly discover that magic might not only be in fairy tales, and that love can be a real lock mess. This did come in the Afterlight box in January this year, so it is one of my newer ones, but maybe this will be a win. We'll find out, I suppose. But yeah, nothing says I can't come back and potentially do this later on in the week. We'll see, as a nice, quick, easy read. But yes, I'm going to move on to Under Lock and Key, so let's do that before this vlog becomes way too long already in the front end of the week and not in the back end of the week. Good morning, it's Tuesday. Very quickly, I wanted to give you first impressions on Under Lock and Key. I didn't know if the title's on there or not. I've took the dust jacket off. Very quickly wanted to give you first impressions. I am 44 pages in and I'm having a good time so far. It's got two narrators, a male narrator and a female narrator. One for Key, obviously the female narrator for Key and the male narrator for Lachlan, and it's duet narration, but only in the sense that he does Lachlan's narration, she does Key's, and then they do everybody else's narration in their own chapters. Does that make sense? So she's not doing all the female characters and he's not doing all the male characters. They're just doing each other's character in each other's chapter, and then they're doing everybody else's character in their own chapter, if that makes sense. I can't remember whether or not it's like that for other people, but for other duet narration books, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And the Scottish accents are actually very good as well. I don't know if the narrator that's doing Lachlan is actually Scottish or not, but he's very good. And I'm enjoying it so far. Key has met her grandmother. It didn't go down too well, and we have got the sense that Lachlan is keeping a secret from her. So yeah, just wanted to come in and check on, let you know how it's going. I really struggled to get out of bed this morning, so it's only 9:05 and I've not long since got up. I really need to wash my hair, but I just can't bother, so I shoved it up in a clip. Can't be asked today. I'm so tired. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was asleep, well, I was lights out for like 10 to 11 last night, so it's not even like it was that late. Really bizarre. But anyway, I'm going to carry on with this today, hopefully finish it, and then move on to something else. I'm not sure what else, but move on to something else. Okay, it's just gone 3 o'clock and I have finished Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. This one was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a quick, fun read, and I mean, I've managed to finish it. But this was significantly more monster romance than I was anticipating. So it wasn't like paranormal romance in the sense that it was like vampires or werewolves or anything like that. Like, it was monster romance. He is the Loch Ness Monster, and I just wasn't anticipating it, and it kind of gave me the ick a little bit. Had it just been the case of this curse that they've both got and that was it, and the monster side of things didn't come into the spicy time side of things, I think I would have been okay. But it played a part and it gave me the ick a little bit. So I am giving this one 3 stars. The writing was fine. I would probably try something from Lana Ferguson again if it came up, you know, if there was anything on Kindle Unlimited or whatever. I'd probably try something from her again. I haven't read anything from her before. The narrators were really good. We had an American female narrator for Key, and we had a Scottish male narrator for Lachlan, and they did really, really well, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed some of the side characters as well, but overall, it was fine. I wasn't super invested by any means, and like I say, the monster romance side of things did give me the ick a little bit, but overall, 3 stars, it was fine. I've read it, it's gonna go onto my shelves for my wrap up, but it will be going into my unhaul pile. Gets another book off. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm finding myself, I'm kind of struggling, I'm not going to lie, because what's happened is I've split up. That was not a sentence, not a whole sentence. I was reading the Legend of Thesmar series right before I started this vlog. I got 2 books in and all I wanted to do was continue. So Box Readathon / Keep It or Yeet It episode 3 has come along and split me continuing that series up. And now I was on a high, like a super high. I was really having a good time with my reading for the first time all year, like having the time of my life with reading, and I was falling back in love with reading again because I have been really struggling this year. And now episode 3 of Keep It or Yeet It has come along and we're back on the struggle bus. Not having a good time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not having a great time. I have DNF'd 2 books, I've unhauled another 2 books, I've just finished Under Lock and Key, so that is 5 books down for this episode already, but I am going to continue on with it. However, I'm just looking at this as a case of if I essentially just DNF books for the rest of the week, that's fine. It's getting books off of my shelves, it's doing what the project is aiming to do. I just need to get out of my head and remind myself that when this video ends, I can go back to the Legend of Thesmar and love reading again, and it's all going to be fine, you know? Just trying to keep my mood high until that point. So on that basis, I've decided to pick up The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This came in an Illumicrate box back in 2022, maybe? Yeah, 2022. And did I not get a author's note in this? I don't think I did. And I don't know much about this. I've heard good things about Emily Lloyd-Jones. I believe that this is set in the same world as The Bone Houses, which I haven't read. But I have heard good things about her writing. And I think this is like Welsh mythology or folklore or something. So once upon a time, the kingdoms of Wales were rife with magic and conflict, and 18-year-old married Mare is well acquainted with both. As the last living water diviner, she can manipulate water with magic, a unique elemental power many would kill to possess. For many years, Mare has been running from the prince who bound her into his service and forced her to kill thousands with her magic. Now all Mare truly wants is a safe, quiet life far from power and politics. But then Mare's old handler, the king's spymaster, returns with a proposition. Use her powers to bring down the very prince that abused them both. With the help of a fey cursed man, a snarky thief and a corgi that may or may not be a spy, Mare must decide if she's prepared to run for the rest of her life or to stand and fight for her freedom and peace. Part heist novel, part dark fairy tale, and rich with Welsh legends, The Drowned Woods is an ethereal fantasy. It does sound interesting. I love the fact that there is an animal companion in here and it's a corgi. Love that. I think that's really funny, and the reviews online seem to be quite positive about this one, especially about the animal companion, because I have been trying to look ahead at reviews a little bit, not spoilery ones, but to see what they say about the writing style, and nothing's been mentioned so far in the handful of reviews that I looked at about the writing style of this being flowery or lyrical. So I am expecting it to be, but nobody said anything, which usually is mentioned in reviews. So we're going to give this a bash and see how it goes. Let's do that, shall we? Okay, it's 4:30. I'm back in the library and I've just done my last sprint with patrons. I'm 57 pages into The Drowned Woods. And this is very much feeling like full-on YA, which it is. It's a YA book. That's the point. I feel like 2022 Steph would have enjoyed this. 2025 Steph hasn't got the patience for a mid-book, and I think that's what it's going to end up being for me today. So, like now, in general, this time zone, now, as opposed to 3 years ago in 2022 when I got this. So, I am going to DNF this one. I do think that the prologue was good. I think it was enticing. I was intrigued by the Welsh lore for sure. The audiobook, very good. And I think that that would have been entertaining. I just think that the immediate vibes that I'm getting from this pretty early on, it's quite slow, but it's giving me the very early on vibes of Six of Crows when they're building their crew together to do the heist. And I didn't love Six of Crows, so I just don't think I'm going to enjoy this one. I have seen that it's very good at the beginning, it's alright at the end, but it really bottoms out in the middle, and I just haven't got the patience for it. So I am going to DNF this one, sadly, but that is another book off of my shelves. We are ploughing our way through these books. I've finished one book, but I've DNF'd 3 so far in this vlog, and it's only Tuesday. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with the rest of my week. I have decided that I'm going to try and go back to Iron Widow by Kieran J. Azar. I was supposed to read this one back in January, but I wasn't in the mood for sci-fi, and I just wonder whether I might have a good time with this one now. I keep looking at all the books that are on as options on my TBR, and I just... honestly, I'm not feeling them. I'm in like a huge purge mood, and I've like gotten rid, I can't tell you how many stacks of books there are on my floor right now. There's probably no less than 150 books, probably more like 200 books in stacks on the floor right now that I've just gotten rid of off my shelves. So I'm in like a huge purge mood, and I don't know if that's causing me a problem or not with this video, because part of me keeps looking at the list that I've got left of the books downstairs from subscription boxes, and I don't want to read any of them except the romantasy, which I'm trying not to do right now because I'm in the middle of that romantasy series that I desperately want to get back to. That could also be causing me a bit of a problem because that's all I want to read right now. But we're going to give this a bash. It's been compared to The Handmaid's Tale, which I've not read, meets Pacific Rim, which is one of my favourite movies of all time, in this dazzling blend of Chinese history and mecha science fiction. You've been living a dream for long enough, welcome to your nightmare. It's following a girl who, in this world, the boys are pilots of chrysalises, I think that's how you pronounce that, giant transforming robots that battle the aliens beyond the Great Wall, and the women are female co-pilots. The women are co-pilots. So they're expected to serve as concubines and sacrifice their lives. We're following 18-year-old Zeton. I've got the audiobook. Zeeshan offers herself up as a concubine pilot. Her plan is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But on miraculously emerging from the cockpit unscathed after her first battle, she's declared an Iron Widow, the most feared pilot of all. Now that Zeeshan has had a taste of power, she sets her sights on bigger things. The time has come to stop more girls from being sacrificed. Girl power. We need it. I've been told that this is fantastic. It's come off my shelves into an unhaul pile, back on my shelves, come off, back on, come off, back on. At least 3 times, probably 4. And it's about time I at least gave it a chance, I think. Especially on the basis that I'm fairly certain Illumicrate have now got both Iron Widow and Tyrant's... whatever the fuck it's called. I always want to call it Tyrant's Throne. That would be this book. It's not called that. It's called Tyrant something else, or something Tyrant. But they've got the new edition of Iron Widow, and then the Heavenly Tyrant is the name of it. And Heavenly Tyrant, because this was like an old school, this is like 2021. This is like an old school, original Illumicrate book. They've redone it for the release of Heavenly Tyrant. So I would like to get to this to make a decision on whether or not to unhaul this one and then get the Illumicrate ones, or whether to just read this. I liked it enough that I would read Heavenly Tyrant, but I don't need to buy the special edition. So let's go and do that. Good morning, it's Wednesday and I'm here to give you an update before I go to work, because I managed to get quite a bit read yesterday, on top of what I'd already told you about. So I told you yesterday that I was going to jump into Iron Widow and give this a chance. This has been on my shelves, off my shelves, on my shelves, off my shelves, more time than probably any other book, to be perfectly honest. Maybe Layla by Colleen Hoover, that's now off my shelves again. We'll see whether or not that makes its way back on. But I kept being told to give this a chance, and so it was actually February's TBR I was meant to read this in. So I didn't read it in Feb, and now we're giving it a chance in Wednesday. And boy, am I glad that I'm giving this a chance. I am 160 pages in, and I'm loving this so far. It is so good. It's very action-packed. I'm so glad that I'm listening to the audiobook. Shout out to audiobook narrators for helping those of us out that have very bad concentration, that struggle with pronunciation and things like that, and also to those people that obviously have sight difficulties as well. But shout out to audiobooks, because I would struggle like hell with this book otherwise. My concentration would be out of the window, because I would not be able to pronounce all of the names and all of the intricate details going on with this. So our main character, I'm going to call her Zeeshan for now, but I'm not sure, it's pronounced completely differently on the audiobook. But I think Zeeshan's as close as I'm going to get as an English person. My apologies for the pronunciation. We are following her, she's 18 years old, and her sister, in the very beginning of this, we see a situation in which her sister is killed. Now, it's done in such a way that there are these types, like robot type things, I think that's what they are anyway, giant transforming robots that battle the aliens beyond the Great Wall. Now, the men pilot the robots, and then there are female concubines in the front, so they essentially do whatever the guy wants for their period of time with him, but pretty much they are a sacrifice for these aliens. So her sister was the concubine for this pilot, so her intention is to get enlisted, become his concubine, and then kill him. She knows full well that there is literally like no way out of this. This is a death sentence and it's essentially suicide, but she's quite happy to do it to enact revenge for her sister. Now, all of that happens very quickly early on in the book, and since then we've moved on very, very fast from this point. She is now with a different pilot. It turns out that she actually is incredibly strong, and the way that she's been able to kill that pilot is unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. And she, as it turns out, is actually an Iron Widow, which means she's like the strongest female or whatever, and she can actually pilot these giant transforming robots, not on her own, but with her co-pilot, the man, as opposed to kind of like just being there to be naked and be a sacrifice. She can actually work with them to make the robot stronger. So this is incredible. Her intention was literally to go kill this very famous pilot, a bit of a fuck you to the world on stop killing women, and as it turns out, she's one of the strongest people going. So we're in a situation now where she's with this different guy. Now he's got a story. Boy, has he got a story. I'm not going to tell you about him because it's not mentioned in the synopsis, but what I will say is that we've very recently, actually, I've just read a scene of Touch Her and Die, and I don't know if this is gonna build into a relationship way, or if it's in a she's important, touch her and die way. You know, like they're making friends and it's done in a platonic way, or if it's done in a sense that they're gonna have feelings for each other further down the road. But we're already at the point of touch her and die, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's really good, very action-packed. I can see why it's compared to Pacific Rim. It's very well done. There is the technical side of things with the robots isn't too technical, which is great. The sci-fi side with the aliens isn't too sci-fi, which is great. And I'm already looking to get my hands on Heavenly Tyrant. I cannot get the duo from Illumicrate with the new sprayed edges, so I'm just not going to bother getting Heavenly Tyrant from there. I will just get a normal copy, I think. So this is going really well, and I'm really glad that I kept putting it back on my shelves after it being in so many unhauls and gave it another chance. It was every single time I saw the words Pacific Rim in the synopsis because I love Pacific Rim. I haven't read Handmaid's Tale, and I do wonder whether I should be reading that because of the way the world is right now, and a lot of people do keep comparing the way specifically America is right now to Handmaid's Tale, and I just wonder whether it's something that I should be reading, really, as a general rule. I've never watched, is there a TV show or a movie, I can't remember, but I've never seen like the screen adaptation, so I'm wondering whether I should read it and whether I would find it really like interesting. It would probably, you know, make me really angry, but I'm wondering whether I should read it and find it really interesting. This though, she's a badass. Zishan's a badass, and I'm obsessed with her. So really looking forward to continuing on with this, and I'm just so glad that I made the decision to pick this one up because I wanted another book, at least one more book finished in this video. I didn't want this to be a DNF, so I'm glad that I've waited until I've been in the mood, because had I read this in Feb, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much, because I definitely wasn't in the mood for sci-fi back in Feb. So yeah, it's going really well. 160 pages in. Success. Right, I'm off to work. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, hello, I'm here to wrap this vlog up. I was going to try and fit another book in, but honestly I'm kind of at a point where I'm happy with how this vlog has gone now. I've managed to finish a second book that I did enjoy, and that was Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. And I really enjoyed this one. It was very good. I had a good time with the characters. I had a good time with the plot. There were a couple of times where I was visibly shocked in this book with some of the things that were said or some of the actions that were done. I thought it was a very good girl power type book, and I really enjoyed it for that. And I'm really looking forward to getting to Heavenly Tyrant. I don't think I want to leave it too long before I try and pick that book up, because I think that although I did enjoy this, it is one that could potentially leave my mind pretty quickly. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but because it's sci-fi with me. It can depend, actually. I will say it can depend. The Illuminae files, The Martian, for example, these types of books stay with me for a very long period of time, but I've also read them a lot. I've read the Illuminae files at least 3 times, if not 4, and I've read The Martian at least twice, if not 3 times. So these are books that tend to stick with me. The Monk and Robot series, actually, that series has really stuck with me, but I think it's the impact it made because of the things it was saying and doing and stuff. I don't know what it is about this, but I just get the feeling, it's probably because of the writing and the terms and the like kind of language used as well. I did say earlier on that if it wasn't for the audiobook I would really struggle with this, because I struggle with pronunciation a lot. It's the sort of thing that would trip me up massively with a book like this, where I would spend a lot of time wanting to try and make sure that I'm pronouncing words right. So the audiobook really helps me out with this, but on that basis I think this story could leave my head pretty quickly. So I do want to try and get to Heavenly Tyrant pretty quickly, but I did end up giving this 4 stars. It was very good. Whether or not I keep this edition I don't know. It does have, I think it's got a bit of sun damage on the top, but I don't know if I'd necessarily keep this copy. I'm not sure. I may even just try an audiobook Heavenly Tyrant, because I audiobooked the rest of this, just audio. I didn't follow along with it, so I may just audiobook Heavenly Tyrant or see if it comes up on a 99p Kindle deal soon or something. We'll see. But 4 stars for this one. I had a good time. So this is the stack of books that I got through during this vlog. I did also unhaul another 2 books, and those were A Dark and Drowning Tide and also The Forest Grimm, both of which have now left my library and gone to my brother's. So I don't have them to show you, but the rest of these I have kept hold of. So in the order that we went in for the video, I did start off with DNF in Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. I'm glad that I've made this decision and this book can now leave my library. I also DNF'd In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. My Illumicrate copy has gone to my brother's. It turned out there was some water damage on that, and I've got absolutely no idea how that has happened, but I'm a little bit gutted about it. This one seems to be alright, which is good news. I do still have the bookmarking where I was at this point, actually, which was page 197. But I say bookmark, it's literally that. But I am going to be unhauling this. Throughout the week, I haven't thought about it since, and I have no interest in going back to it. So I am definitely unhauling this, and it will be leaving my library. Then I did read Under Lock and Key by Alana Ferguson, which I gave 3 stars to. This was fine. I just got a little bit of an ick with the monster romance side of things, probably because I wasn't expecting it. I thought this was going to be more of a sweet, fluffy with potential spice type story. It was a little bit more monster romance than that. I wasn't expecting it, but I gave it 3 stars. I did finish it. It will be leaving my library. I did DNF The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. I'm a little bit gutted about this one, I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. I've got another Emily Lloyd Jones on my shelves with The Hearts We Sold. Whether or not I enjoy that one, I don't know. I did pick that one up specifically because Jade recommended it to me. So yeah, but this one I am DNFing and it will be leaving the library. And then Iron Widow, which I gave 4 stars. And I think I will probably unhaul this, actually, to be fair. I don't think I need to keep hold of it. It's not a new favourite or anything. It's not going to be on a best of the year video or anything like that. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm so glad that I kept hold of it and I actually gave it a chance, because it was definitely worth the chance I gave it. So okay, I just had to bugger off like 15 minutes to work out the math of this, because the math wasn't mathing and I couldn't figure it out. Jade had to sort it out for me. So as it turns out, I actually unhauled 3 other books without reading them, not 2. So the 3 other books that I unhauled, we're going to represent them with these because they've gone, were A Dark and Drowning Tide, The Forest Grimm, and The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I just unhauled that one without reading it because I've heard that people didn't enjoy it as much as The Soulmate Equation, and I've no interest in reading it anymore. So we started off with 39 books and I unhauled 3 without reading, which gets us down to 36. I really hope the math works here now. I read 2, which gets us down to 34, and I unhauled, no, I DNF'd 3, which just gets us down to 31. Which gets us down to 31. So officially, by the end of this video, I'm down to 31 books, but I've got 3 other books coming in for the month of March from subscription services. So in theory, I'm up to 34 books for starting the next episode. So we're ending on 31 though. Let's just say that for the time being. The other 3 books haven't yet come in. So we're ending on 31 books, which isn't too bad considering we started on 39. That's not too bad. I'm really happy with that, with the progress of this video. So God, that was really stressful. I had to take it to my patrons and we were trying to work out what was going wrong. It was me. I was the problem. Yeah. So 31 books for the next episode. It will be more than that because books will come in. But 31 books for the next episode. Jesus Christ. I'm ending this episode on 31 books. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. And I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.